Hello and welcome to Porsche Cup Challenge. My name is Michael McLeod and I am going to be your broadcaster tonight for this race. We are here at Magny Cours and it's going to be an exciting race. There's a lot to this track, extremely technical, very difficult as you can see, very easy to make a mistake, just as always. I guess that's also the Porsche Cup Challenge aspect of it. Just lock up the brakes and away you go. This track with all these turns that we've got, it's quite an intense ride, I gotta say. I saw here in practice that Philip Hammer's been struggling. He's current season points leader. A little bit of a struggle in practice. Let's see if he can pull together one of those hammer laps that we often see in our qualifying from him. But we also have some real tough competitors coming at us tonight. We've got Jürgen Frank, we've got Danny Hugendorn, Florian Kappel, new today on provisional pole. Really curious to see how this one plays out. Very, very fast drivers tonight. This track looking like it's much cooler than our Thursday race. Very lucky for these guys. So the lap times are going to be much, much quicker. I gotta say, they got it easy. Look at this track temperature, 25 Celsius. Right now we have 5 minutes left in our open qualifying. Everyone gets 4 laps total, 4 laps maximum. And there is that hammer lap. Look at that. You gotta just tell you gotta counter the broadcaster's curves and just say terrible things about someone, and all of a sudden they go quite fast. That is the secret. I've now discovered the secret. So Yuri Steinmetz is just a little bit late in the session. Bernardo Faria, I'm not sure if he'll be able to race. I hope he's able to make it, but I'm seeing that he may not be able to actually join this race, which is very unfortunate. Sad to hear. Would love to have had Bernardo Faria out there. Really would have been a great driver out in this mix of in the mix of the field that we've got right here. It's going to be intense. We have now, without Bernardo here, 30 cars on the grid, and that is going to be an excellent race. Wow, 138.7. That is fast. Let's get, you know what? Let's get some of these engine sounds up even higher. I want to hear exactly how these exhausts sound. I am, of course, as you can hear today already, alone on this broadcast, so I'm going to be doing the best that I can, and yeah. Let's take a look at what SDK says is the most exciting. It looks like we've got Jason Lyons. He was amateur champion of season 2. This season, of course, we have a much bigger grid, and so Jason Lyons has significantly different problems that he has to solve to get to the top of amateur division once again. With a lot more cars on the grid, there's a lot more traffic. You have to be faster, slower, figure out how to manage and understand that traffic, all the new drivers, and learning how they all race. So that's definitely been very very challenging for Jason Lyons so far. So nice to have a break from Adam commenting. I don't know. That's a message coming straight from Adam himself. I miss having Adam. I miss having Adam with me in the broadcaster booth. It's always a great time when I have him. And we have a shout out for Alejandro Tosi. Where is Alejandro Tosi? Is qualified currently in P7 with a blazing fast time. So there's a shout out from A Drive M69. Love the number, right? For Alejandro Tosi. So good luck, Alejandro Tosi, out there. And of course, if anyone is watching and has an Amazon Prime subscription, please, if you can, use that free subscription that you get with your Amazon Prime on the Porsche Cup Challenge Twitch account. All of it supports the league. Every little bit of it helps. And you know what? It keeps our league free. Not everyone has the advantage of spending money to join a league. And we do have cash payouts. One of the ways that we do that and keep that up is the Twitch Prime subscriptions. So, with that said, drop your Twitch Prime subscription right here with us, especially if you race in the league, enjoy the league, and you know, every little bit helps. So right now, let's take a look at what's happened. Byron DeBello, his first time out with us in PCC, and now is on his, I don't know if he's actually going to be able to set a lap. I think he's had too many off tracks potentially, and not able to set a lap for Byron. Yuri, I think, is having the same struggle. He may have to start at the very back of the pack, and that's going to be an interesting race. Yuri Steinmetz, a little bit of history, was P2 in our Season 2. So he has the pace, he has the racecraft, he is the package that we're looking for to be on the top 3 positions at the end of our season. Just maybe not the package that we're looking for tonight. Maybe it's this track. And there's another lockup from Yuri Steinmetz, and you know, that's a hard corner. You're going from 250 kilometers an hour all the way down to about 60, 70 kilometers an hour. Is not an easy corner. It's not an easy braking zone. Just a little bit too much brake or a little bit too little brake, and all of a sudden you really are missing that corner. Let's take a look. Woo. Let's take a look at Yuri Steinmetz in the car. Oh. And there goes that broadcaster curse. And there goes that broadcaster curse. There's the end of our qualifying. We have 30 cars on our grid. Right now, I'm going to pull up the entire grid and let's see if we can make it through before the gridding is finished. And let's see how far back all those cars go. Really curious to see. Come on. There is our qualifying. There is our qualifying right there. Florian Kappel on pole position. Very first race out. Congratulations. This is quite a field to be on pole position. That is a hell of a lap. Congratulations once again. Danny Hugendorn in P2. Philip Hammer in P3. Frank Smits in P4. Emil Koopmans P5. What a great lap from Emil. Jurgen Frank in P6. We've got Benjamin Pape in 7. Alejandro Tosi in 8. We also have Thorsten Seifert in P9, Bruno Heinrich in P10, Amir Carr in 11, Samuel K. Spruill in 12, Lee Holmes, the leader of the amateur division, is qualified at the very front of the amateur division pack in 13, Bjorn Ritter, Ryan Winfield, Gregory Vranks, Philip Strafferoy, Jason Lyons. Let's bring this down just a little bit. There we go. Steve Kleiss, Glenn Humberstone, Alexander Wilford, Mark Oliver, Tom E. Corner, our Thursday broadcast now in the race. Craig Schill, Alexander Redhead, Barry Clayton, Alistair Hatcher, Edwin Van Driel, and we got one more. 2 more. Byron DeBello and Bernardo Faria and Yuri Steinmetz. Okay, let's pull down. Let's bring this up first. And then I want to hide it so we can see all of these beautiful cars on that grid. Let's see exactly how far back does that go. How far back does that go? We can see some of these cars are starting almost at that chicane, so quite a distance. All the drivers are getting into their cars, just prepping themselves mentally, physically before this race starts. We have just a few seconds to go before the race starts. The green flag has been waved. The gridding is done. The lights are up in the middle of the screen. Here we go. The lights are starting to come up right in the middle. And the lights are off, and away we go. Here we go. Everyone's gotten a real great start. Florian, maybe not the start that he wanted. Philip Hammer's challenging for the lead. 3 wide in the first turn. And here we go. We have 3 wide through the entire field. And it looks like Wilford is off on the outside into the sand. And oh no, and it looks like that may have been Craig Schill. And or Barry Clayton, someone that may not. That is not going to go very well. And here we go, heading down the very first time down this straight. Florian Kappel able to stay ahead. Danny Hugendorn on the inside, and we have a whole bunch of cars braking real hard. It looks like Jurgen Frank is able to avoid that mess. I'm not sure who car 51 is. And there's a spun car. That is a little bit of chaos. We are going to have to look away from that for just a second so we can get back to where the excitement really, really is. Right in the middle of the field is usually where the chaos happens from the accordion effect, of course. And, yeah. Let's pull up our timing tower so we can see. Oh no, it looks like Wilfred is not having a good race in the very back. I am not sure what happened there, but he is not having a good time, I gotta say. Let's go right back up to the very front. It looks like most of these drivers haven't won or lost any positions so far. Everyone's almost exactly where we started. Just as I was saying, that accordion effect into that very heavy braking zone from 250 kilometers an hour all the way down to about 60 kilometers an hour has created a lot of chaos, just as we've predicted. And we have some drivers up, some drivers down, and some drivers out. Lee Holmes, definitely one of the biggest losers of the race so far, down 13 spots. It looks like Thorsten Seifert going through pit lane. Alejandro Tosi going through pit lane. That is not going to help his chances. He is going for a quick repair. As you can see, he wants to just get back out in the action as best he can with the best car he can. Oh, and there's Emil Koopmans going wide out through turn 2, and that's allowed Jürgen Frank and a few others to get right on through. Here we go. Oh, and everyone is real close up at the very front. They have a lot of trust going in, into that turn with each other, keeping themselves nice and tight, and now exiting out of the hairpin. We are gonna take a look just a little further back with Ryan Winfeld. He is now currently the leader of the amateur division drivers, with Gregory Ranks right behind him. Samuel Spruill, who qualified, Samuel Spruill looks like he qualified a little further back. Ryan Winfeld just having a great drive, having gained 6 positions, benefiting off of all of that chaos that's happened. And away he goes. Here is, oh, and further back, everyone is just absolutely battling for every single position. Lee Holmes wants to get right back to where he feels he belongs, at the very front of these amateur division drivers. And he has, of course, this is Tom E. Corner. So he has Steve Kleiss directly ahead of him that he's going to have to break on through. Byron DeBello, his first race of PCC, he is in P20. Trying to fight off the likes of Steve Kleiss, and that is one tough battle. I gotta see Steve Kleiss going for the right lane position, going for that dive up the inside, and Byron gonna have to back out and give it up, and he's now getting passed by an absolute train of cars. That is, oh my gosh, and that has absolutely opened up the floodgates to just allow cars right on through. Now, Alexander Wilford is through. Philip Straffarelli, Alistair Hatcher now looking to get through. Oh, no, never mind. Philip Straffarelli is still behind. And, oh, wow. Here we go, heading into that hairpin. Samuel Spruill trying to make a pass on Gregory Ranks and making it work, making it stick. So Samuel Spruill is through, and there goes... Oh, there goes Edwin Van Driel on Craig Schill. Let's look a little further back as everyone starts coming through that hairpin. There's Thorsten Seifert, much further back than we expected him to be. He's going to have a long way to work his way back up to the very front of the pack where he definitely belongs. I see Bjorn Ritter has crashed. I'm going to just take a real quick look at how did that one happen. So this is car 22 following Bjorn Ritter, and then into the hairpin. Just there it is, a little bit of a lockup, and oh, something must have happened. Technical difficulties, blown a brake line, something, anything. You don't normally see that. We're going to head to the very front of the pack. We're looking at Florian Kappel, our very first race seeing him, and he is definitely outperforming outperforming the entire field. Philip Hammers gained a position on Danny Hugendorn. We got Frank Smith, Jürgen Frank, Benjamin DePape. They are all very close to each other. Not one of them is letting Florian get away. This German driver is really putting everyone through their paces, so I'm really excited all season long to see how Florian races. This is, I just gotta say, that's really exciting to see a new driver come in and just show up the entire field. I love it, Jarek Motorsports, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for following. I hope you enjoy the show, and away we go. Bruno Heinrich, it looks like, is at the very back of this lead pack group. Oh, it looks like Benjamin DePape going a little bit wide, and that's going to allow Bruno trying to get up alongside, make a pass, make him pay for that mistake. Is Bruno able to do it? He's not able. He is going to hang tight and wait for a better opportunity, but he is now closer than ever to that rear bumper of Benjamin, and he is going to close that gap under braking. Oh no, and what? There was a little bit of contact behind us, it sounded like, and there they go. Looks like Frank Smits has made a pass on Danny Hugendorn. And there Jurgen Frank making a dive under braking on Danny Hugendorn, and now going through the chicane too wide, which is just absolutely not going to work. And now that's put Danny Hugendorn at risk of losing even more positions as they head through turn 1. Danny Hugendorn on the outside. It looks like Bruno Heinrich backing out to save himself for another part of the race. Oh no! Danny Hugendorn almost losing control as he heads around this massive sweeping right turn of turn 2, and he is still ahead of Bruno Heinrich, but Benjamin DePape is through, and that pass from Jurgen Frank just absolutely opened up the door for all of this battling to happen. That is great battling. That every position matters for every one of these drivers. That's what you love to see. So Jurgen Frank making that pass that he felt he needed to do to get through, not let that lead pack get too far away so he can hold on to that draft. Jurgen Frank is definitely one tough customer. I love that livery. That looks wild. Love it, love it, love it. So now, with all of that battling, of course, has brought Emil Koopmans right up to that pack. Bruno Heinrich is now getting a bunch of cars directly behind him. Samuel Spruill, Gregory Ranks, Ryan Winfeld, Emil Koopmans, all very, very close. So too much battling is going to make an even more exciting battle, really, for all of them. So here's Bruno Heinrich. He's now trying to find a way through Danny Hugendorn. Car 992 is now hitting the brakes, front of that car compressing as he heads around the very last sequence of corners, through that chicane, jumping that car up in the air, and almost losing control. And Bruno Heinrich is through. Bruno Heinrich is now through car 992. Danny Hugendorn is definitely struggling at this track. There's quite a few cars struggling at this track. It is not an easy track. And now it's Emil Koopmans' turn to try and test his luck against Danny. And you know what? There's a lot of cars here that are going to try and test their luck against Danny. I gotta say, knowing that you can't sleep, you can't rest, you gotta be on your toes this entire race. And look at that, Philip Hammer is up to P2. Danny Hugendorn is down many, many spots. So Philip Hammer, just by being consistent, has put himself in a real great spot. Frank Smits directly behind this group. Jurgen Frank not far off of Frank Smits. And then we got P5 Benjamin DePape, who is now 2.5 seconds back from that lead group. So this is going to be essentially a battle for 5th. And there's Bruno Heinrich locking his brakes. And that is going to allow Benjamin DePape to get away. But now he is at risk, after heating up those tires like crazy, at risk for having Danny Hugendorn, Emil Koopmans, and Ryan Winfeld to start attacking and finding a way through Bruno here. Of course, none of these cars have ABS. None of these cars have traction control. And that is definitely what makes them so hard to drive, so much fun to drive. Danny Hugendorn trying to throw a little bit of a defensive line on Emil Koopmans. Emil Koopmans is backing out, not making that dive quite yet on Danny Hugendorn, and he's just going to wait for just the right time. Those jumps, I gotta say, those cars take off like a rocket. We're going to go a little further back. It looks like Glenn Humberstone up 8 positions, having a great drive in this amateur division tonight. He is on a nice, comfortable island, 6 seconds ahead, or 6 seconds behind Gregory, and 5 seconds ahead of Jason Lyons. Jason Lyons also having a great drive, up 5 positions. Craig Schill up 10 positions from where he qualified. Mark Oliver up 7. Edwin Van Driel, another great place to be. Alexander Redhead is up 8 positions. Wow. Steve Kleiss, I think he had a little bit of a spin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And that is going to allow a few cars to make pass. I have no idea how that happened. I hope it was just an oopsie on its own, and away we go. Yeah, like I was just saying before, these cars do not have traction control, no ABS, and so this is absolutely all driver. You have to be able to get this car to the beginning and every bit of it with standing start, and you know, it's a trading car. Oh, and there goes a car in the background. I'm not sure who that was. Let's follow along with Alejandro Tosi. He is now on the back of Alexander Wilfert and looking to find a way through. Alexander Tosi, of course, very, very fast driver. He has shown his competence here in PCC, and he has just had a real rough race start in that hairpin. I think he bumped the car ahead, and it's just a lot of chaos that happened, if I remember correctly. And so he just has to race his way back to the very front and gain some spots, and hopefully gain even more in that feature start, because we do have a second race to do. And that second race is going to be really important for a lot of these drivers. Here is Lee Holmes having a race that he hopefully he can forget. Amir Carr, I think he may have been the car that was spinning. I'm not sure. Car number 27 now heading through that final corner with Mark Oliver in tow. And Amir Carr is down 13 spots, and that is definitely a painful spot to be. Definitely not an easy ride for Amir Carr. Oh, and there goes Mark Oliver having a spin once again. He is heading to spin class. Okay, we're going to head right up to the very front of the leaders of the race here. Florian Kappel, Philipp Hammer, Jürgen Frank, not too far back, but not quite close enough to compete for the win. We have 2 more laps to go, it's looking like, as they're heading around. Which corner are we at? Yeah, we're heading closer and closer to our final corner. As you can see, they're diving in, under braking, now taking the jumps and heading onto that start finish line right there. And so we're going to have one more lap. This should be the final lap. Are we going to see Barney? Yep, there is that white flag waving in the background. So here we go. This is the absolute final lap of our 15-minute sprint race before we do our 30-minute reverse grid. And here we go through turn 2. Florian Kappel is in the lead. Car number 60 is getting closer than ever as we head down this very, very long straight where you can have a cup of tea and a biscuit and even take a nap as you're heading towards this braking zone. And then holy smokes, you gotta wake up and hit the brakes as hard as you absolutely can. Philipp Hammer's gonna have to go around the outside. Florian Kappel is defending that inside line. Are we going to see the switchback? And Philipp Hammer's almost able to get the switchback. We are seeing a lot of defensive driving from Florian Kappel. He is not going to let Philipp Hammer have that position easy. And directly behind we have Jürgen Frank and Frank Smits battling it out. Not too far back is Bruno Heinrich, leading a whole bunch of different cars. And I've missed, and there's Florian Kappel. I gotta see exactly how that happened before it's too late. Let's just take a quick look. How did that happen? Florian Kappel missed his braking point. Let's get back to live as quick as we can, because Philipp Hammer's now in the lead of this race as he's heading through the corner. I believe that's called the Nürburgring. And here is one of the final braking zones. You head down this straight as fast as you bloody well can, and you're going to hit about 240 kilometers an hour into one of the heavier braking zones into this track. And here is Philipp Hammer hitting the brakes. Florian Kappel not able to get overlap, and one missed braking point for Florian Kappel has lost him the win of this race. And here comes Philipp Hammer across the finish line, winning this race. Congratulations, Philipp Hammer. Wow. And that was quite a race, I gotta say. Wow. So we're going to head a little further back, see how everyone else is doing before they cross that line. Here is Jason Lyons. He is on his own, so very lucky for him. Edwin Van Driel. I don't think too many. Oh, and here is Alexander Wilfert, Thorsten Seifert. Thorsten Seifert, is he going to go for the move up the inside, or is he going to let Wilfert have it? It looks like he is going to have some patience and wait to the feature race to make all of his moves with that 30-minute race. Oh no, Thorsten is not waiting, and Wilfert door banging as they head through that final chicane, and Wilfert able to stay ahead. Here comes Alexander Redhead. There is Lee Holmes crossing the line. Alejandro Tosi crossing the line. Byron DeBello up 6 spots in 23rd. Mark Oliver, he not quite finished the race just yet in P24, down 2 spots total from where he qualified, just coming across a little bit of damage. I'm not sure exactly how that happened, but there he goes. Alistair Hatcher, I think he's done his race. He does have a checkered flag. He does. So we're going to pull up those results from the heat race and go through that real quick. And wow, what a race. Absolutely insane race. Absolutely love it. So the winner from that heat race, Philip Hammer, congratulations, did not qualify on the very front row, was able to just have the patience, consistency, and wait it out, and all of a sudden ends up winning the race. Wow. Wow. Always surprises me. Always. Here's Florian Kappel in second position. Jürgen Frank moved up a bunch of spots. Frank Smits is P4. Bruno Heinrich in P5. Benjamin Pape in 6th. Danny Hugendorn down to 7th. Heartbreak with the Hugendorn. Emil Koopmans is in 8th. Ryan Winfeld, our top amateur driver here in the heat race, he is in 9th. He is just outside of that reverse grid. It's a good spot to be. Samuel K. Sprout in 10. Gregory Ranks in 11. Glenn Humberstone, Jason Lyons, Craig Schill, Edwin Van Driel, Steve Kleiss, Thorsten Seifert way down. Barry Clayton, Alexander Redhead, Lee Holmes, Alejandro Tosi has a long way to go to get back up to the front. Luckily, race start, everyone's back together, so we'll see how that goes as the feature goes. Of course, 30-minute race, so it's a lot of time to make good passes. You don't have to rush it, but of course, you know, we're all race drivers here, so you want to do as fast as possible, no? Mark Oliver, Alexander Wilford, Byron DeBello, Amir Carr, Alistair Hatcher, Philip Straffarelli, Tom E. Corner, Yuri Steinmetz did not have a good race, it looks like. Starting at the back, maybe it was not the winning formula, and Bjorn Ritter. So, heading right back up, and there, so that reverse grid top 8, so this is going to put Emil Koopmans in first position, Danny Hugendorn second, and so on. So Philip Hammer is going to be in 8th, Florian Kappel in 7th. I'm really curious to see how this goes. I love these reverse grids personally. I was against it at one point, and now I love it. I think every single race, every single league should be reverse grid. It's just the absolute most fun, best thing ever, to have that challenge of all of these drivers in a place that they're not normally in. The people with the pace can't just run away with it. They have to put together the whole package rather than just the pace. And you know what? That it just makes for some really excellent racing. Let's take a look at the weather. And these guys have 27 Celsius track. I gotta say, they're very, very lucky. The Thursday race was quite warm. So very lucky. Very, very lucky. All these drivers are now getting into their cars for the final race. They have about 10 more seconds, or else they're going to be missing that race. Yuri Steinmetz is in the very back, so he is deciding to race. Here are the lights up, and everyone's about ready to go. We got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. The lights are off, and away we go, and everyone's gotten a really great start. You can see Thorsten in the back going right up the inside, trying to get a great launch, and here we go, is Emil Koopmans is in the lead. Oh, and we have some chaos in the back, and that is going to pay dividends for those who are able to avoid it as we head around turn 2. And it has already created a few gaps. That looks like Alejandro Tosi, and we're going to skip right up to the very front because this is where the race really matters. Jürgen Frank up the inside of Danny Hugendorn and trying to get as many positions as he can. Emil Koopmans is still in that lead, and everyone is now pulling out of that hairpin nice and clean. A little bit of door banging, and that is okay. These cars have full cage around them, and it's going to protect these drivers throughout this race. Emil Koopman is just having an excellent race start with this reverse grid, taking advantage of it and staying as far ahead as he possibly can. And it looks like Danny Hugendorn, Danny Hugendorn is spun, and that is going to cause some chaos. Just a little bit of a bump from behind. Oh no! And That is just an unfortunate moment for Danny Hugendorn. I really feel for the guy. That I feel bad about that one, seeing that one. You never want to see that happen, but sometimes it does, and that's just racing, unfortunately. Here is Frank Smits is in 4th position. Jürgen Frank up to 3rd. Gained 3 spots already. Jürgen Frank is on a roll. He wants the win of this race, and he wants it now. And you can see that in his actions. He's made every pass that he possibly could, trying to get up to the very front. Philip Hammer is doing his usual slow and steady wins the race. Something's happening. You can totally hear it. That Wilford is, that's unfortunate. We're gonna have to move forward though. Move on, move forward. Philip Hammer's up only 1 spot. I'm not sure who's, but so Philip Hammer doing his consistent, steady Eddie, slow and easy does it. And here we go at the very front. Bruno Heinrich is trying to go around the outside in this heavy braking zone on Emil Koopmans. Is he able to get it done? And Emil Koopmans able to accelerate real hard out of that final piece of that hairpin. And Bruno though is now ahead and in the lead of the race. So Jürgen Frank now wants a piece of this action. A little further back, Florian Kappel up 3 spots, and so now he's going to be looking to try and make up that gap to get right behind Jürgen Frank. You'll see it very shortly. So Jürgen Frank, both of these drivers have a game that they have to play. Jürgen Frank wants on through this pack as fast as he can. He's shown that he has race-winning pace, so he wants to get through as fast as he can before Florian Kappel gets right up on his tailpipe. Florian Kappel is playing the game of getting up there as soon as he can before Jürgen Frank breaks on through, so that gives him a better chance of, as soon as Jürgen Frank tries to make a pass, it can open up the door for Florian himself to get on through. And that is definitely one brave way to take that chicane. You are jumping that car like, wow, like a dirt bike, way up in that air. Steve Klei's up 6 positions, having a great drive to reverse that not so favorable sprint race that he had. So he is now up into 10th position in the top 10. What a great drive. This is now lap 3. Samuel K. Spruill heading around turn 2. It looks like Glenn Humberstone and Thorsten Seifert now on through Glenn Humberstone. Craig Schill here. There's Jason Lyons. Looks like Jason Lyons, his car is intact, so that is going to help him down the long run of this race. Byron in car 00 is up 8 spots total, so he is having an excellent feature race, absolutely excellent, followed by Lee Holmes. Lee Holmes has real strong pace. Yuri Steinmetz, no damage on his car so far, so he's having an excellent feature race. He's just here for the fun and here to try and gain as many spots as he can. And there's Lee Holmes locking up under braking into this hairpin. This track has a lot of hairpins. And Barry Clayton not far behind, but Yuri Steinmetz looking to make a pass on this pack of cars that he's just now caught up to. Here is Philip Straffarelli, Danny Hugendorn, the orange Flying Dutchman, I gotta say, looking to try and get back to where he started. And now they're heading out of that slow corner. Danny Hugendorn, he does have some front end aero damage, so he's not going to be able to make passes as easily. This is a very high speed track. Oh no! And there goes Glenn Humberstone, has crashed. Oh, and there's another. You know, I gotta say that's target fixation. You see the car on the side, you want to join them, and that's exactly what happened there to Philip Straffarelli. That's funny, you know. Unfortunate, but that's also funny. And I've missed it. Here's Jürgen Frank has made some passes. We gotta take a look at exactly how did we get up to this point. So Bruno Heinrich made a pass for, so P14, P2, Here it is. Jürgen Frank made a pass for Emil Koopmans on the hairpin. So here we go. This is Jürgen Frank making a pass right there. And then where does he make a pass next? He makes a pass on Bruno Heinrich. I'm going to have to guess right. Here we go. There is Bruno Heinrich going a little bit wide, and we're going to just have to fast forward. Here is the pass before we miss too much live action, and here's the pass on Bruno Heinrich right there, under breaking up the inside, and nice and easy for Jürgen Frank, and now he has a chance to break away from Bruno Heinrich. Bruno Heinrich, though, is one very tough customer. Not going to be an easy challenge for Jürgen Frank, but we'll see. May the force be with you. Florian Kappel, of course, as I was saying, is playing that game of try and catch that pack as soon as he can before Jürgen Frank gets that open air in the very lead of the race. And so if we're playing that game, it looks like Florian has lost, but of course we still have 22.5 minutes to go in this race. Anything can happen. There's a lot of driving to go. This track has a lot that I can throw at you, and my apologies for that really long replay, because there is a lot happening live. Absolutely a lot happening live. We got Frank Smits is in tow of Florian Kappel, and I'm going to have to say Frank Smits likely looking to follow Florian through. Oh, and someone has... looks like Bruno is either Bruno or Emil. Someone has locked up their brakes up ahead. And it looks like that was Bruno Heinrich locking up his brakes, and that's given Jürgen Frank a bigger gap that he was looking for. Now, Bruno Heinrich is definitely at risk for being passed by many cars. If he keeps this up, he's going to be having a smoke show on his tires, especially under braking and accelerating. It is not going to be easy to drive that car, and he is really at risk at losing his podium position. He has a lot of race to go. He's going to have to find a way to keep up his pace and keep his tires together. That is not a spot that I would want to be in, but at least he's in P2. So here is Florian Kappel being followed by Frank Smits as we head around turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. And Frank Smits is getting closer than ever. A little bit of a DRS train as we're heading down this long straight where you can have a cup of tea, eat a biscuit, and take a nap, but then that brake zone will wake you the hell up as you hit the brakes as hard as you possibly can. And if you're not awake yet, you're going to be going right off that track. Frank Smits not able to get up alongside of Kappel, and he is going to have to follow for a little bit more until he can find that gap. We're going to head a little further back and take a look at Yuri Steinmetz. So Yuri Steinmetz is now through. I see Samuel K. Spruill. I want to just take a quickie look. How did Samuel K. Spruill make a pass on Steve Kleiss? Oh, and Steve Kleiss goes just a little bit wide, and that allowed Samuel K. Spruill to make a pass. And there is a whole bunch of fighting in the very back of the field. So let's follow along real quickly with Alistair Hatcher, Philip Straffarelli, Glenn Humberstone, and not too far back is Amir Carr. So here we go, heading out of that hairpin. It looks like Alexander Redhead exactly where he started in this race as they head down into this something happened here, and there goes Craig Schill as Jason Lyons has now made another pass. Craig Schill has spun. Okay, and now back to the action of Alexander Redhead, Alistair Hatcher, Philip Straffarelli, and that is a cool paint scheme. I like that, the black and white. It mixes really well. So it looks like Alistair Hatcher throwing a little bit of a defensive line, making it hard work for Philip Straffarelli to get on through, and so it's not going to be an easy time taking that late apex, trying to accelerate as best he can out of the corner. 997 is going to get a real good run on Alistair Hatcher. Alistair Hatcher is giving up the inside. Is Philip Straffarelli. He's going to make a dive up the inside, under braking into that final corner. And we're going to have too wide through the chicane. Alistair Hatcher thinks better of it, backs out, and gives the position to Philip Straffarelli. And what a great battle between these two. Excellent driving. And I got to say, that is a smart decision to give up that position in that chicane. It's it's definitely a gamble. You know, you can just hold on to that draft and take the position back later on down the race. You don't have to chance it all in that one final moment right then and there. Definitely wise. So here is Amir Carr, one of our faster drivers on the grid. He is up 3 spots. Oh, and he gets an excellent exit out of the hairpin. He is now challenging Alistair Hatcher. He is now challenging Alistair Hatcher for P20, and Alistair Hatcher is going to give that position up, let him have it, and follow in his draft, and try and take advantage. It looks like Amir Carr is putting that car on absolute edge, trying to milk every bit of performance out of that engine, out of that suspension, out of those tires to get back to the very front, or as quick or as close as he can, anyways, to the very front. I'm going to just take a quickie look at Thorsten Seifert. He's not had a great time. That's, I want to take a quick look at the race start, see exactly what happened. Let's take a look at what happened at that race start. A little bit of chaos in that middle pack. And that is just an unfortunate moment. A little bit of unlucky moments for some, and fortunate for others. And that explains how they went off track. So I want to head right back up to this lead pack, because Bruno Heinrich, as I was saying earlier, has a lot of drivers on his tail. And so he's had to try and manage his tires at the same time as holding up his pace. And this is where he's at right now with Florian Kappel, who has shown strong pace all race long in that sprint, is 9/10 behind him, definitely within that draft range. He is not hurting under aero wash in his draft. So Bruno is definitely at risk of, with all these cars directly behind him, Florian Kappel, Emil Koemans, Frank Smits, Philipp Hammer, to be knocked off that podium spot. It's going to be an exciting race to that finish with another 16 and a half minutes to go. So it's a lot of time to go, and also not a lot of time. I have notification here of Florian Kappel making a pass on Emil Koemans just before we get to that heavy braking zone. This is exactly how that happened. Emil Koemans had the door just a little bit open. Florian Kappel saying, "I am going to push my way through. You are not stopping me. Away I am going." And that is how Florian Kappel made the pass on Emil Koemans. Wow, that is actually that is very, very nice pass, I gotta say. As they head out of that hairpin, Emil Koemans followed by Frank Smits and Philipp the Hammer. Philipp the Hammer was saying he was struggling at this track, and now I just don't believe it. He is up 2 spots from where he started, just hoping that being that steady Eddie, nice and consistent, is going to win him even more spots. And now he has Frank Smits in his sights, getting an excellent exit. Is he going to try and gain that overlap under braking? No, he is going to wait just a little bit. And this is exactly what we've seen from Philipp the Hammer in the past. It's put him in P1 for season points so far. It's worked for him, and it'll work for anyone. As they head down towards one of the final heavy braking zones, Philipp the Hammer not able to get up alongside, and he's just going to have to wait it out. Looking a little further back, here's Benjamin DePape, here's Ryan Winfeld, Gregory Ranks, Samuel K. Spruill, Thorsten Seifert, being followed by nobody. Lucky for Thorsten. Here is Jason Lyons being followed by... Sorry, this is Lee Holmes being followed by Jason Lyons. Craig Schill is much further back. That is 11 seconds, so that's quite far. So we have quite a big distance between the different groups. And I see on my relative here, Philipp Hammer maybe looking to go for a pass. He's going to go around the outside. It looks like Frank Smits wants the inside under braking for... a little bit of a bump from Florian Kappel, and that's going to cause a little bit of chaos. Bruno Heinrich is really defending that position as hard as he possibly can, getting an excellent exit to stay ahead. Florian Kappel not able to capitalize on some of that space that he thought he saw. And And if he's not careful, he's going to be at risk but being passed once again by Emil Koopmans. These guys want oh, and there's Bruno Heinrich going wide into that corner and abusing those tires. I don't know how long Bruno Heinrich is going to be able to hold this all up. It is definitely challenging. Thank you for following T Fenelon. Thank you for finally following. And once again, just shameless plug, of course, of the PCC League. If you have Nibs on Prime membership and you like our league, you want to support our league, every bit helps. Use your Amazon Prime membership with us, please. Now back to that action. Here is, they are closer than ever. Philip Hammer, just the patience. Wow, and here we go, heading into turn one. Emil Koopmans now at risk after taking that chicane just a little slower than Frank Smits wanted. Frank Smits up the inside in the turn one, making pass, and here we go. Emil Koopmans at risk for being passed by the Hammer as well, and if they're not careful, they may lose the draft to that front pack and the final podium positions. So Emil Koopmans getting an excellent launch out of turn two, turn three. Is Frank Smits going to defend that inside line? It's anybody's guess. Frank Smits, he's putting trust in Emil Koopmans and hoping that he does not make that pass. And that trust was returned and Emil Koopmans did not make that pass. So we're going to have to wait for another few laps and see. Or, you know what, here comes another really great passing opportunity, especially if someone misses that braking point, as we've seen Bruno do. Luckily able to recover the car, get back onto the racing line, and stay ahead. So Florian Kappel up 4 spots and is in that final podium position. I'm going to just check in with the leader of the race so far. How far ahead is he? He is 5.7 seconds, so he is really throwing it to this field. He's up 5 spots, starting in, what was that? That'd be 6th position. Starting in 6th, was 3rd in that sprint race, and is just now really stuffing it to this field. Gaining all those spots as quick as possible and building that gap. It's going to save your tires and save your energy, really. We are going to go right to Byron DeBello, Alistair Hatcher, and Barry Clayton. They are fighting for P16, so it looks like Yuri Steinmetz is 14 spots up, and he is quite a bit ahead of this group. So this is a 3-way tango for 16th spot, and both these drivers are up quite a few spots. Barry Clayton is exactly where he started, so he's having a decent race just to be exactly where he started. Byron up 8, Alistair up 9. That's quite excellent gains for these amateur drivers in this race tonight. They are now heading into the final braking zone. Across those jump chicanes and across that start-finish line for another lap. It looks like Barry Clayton was able to get by Alistair Hatcher. Alistair Hatcher making a mistake, and that's allowed Barry Clayton to get 1 position gained in this race. So definitely a huge benefit for Barry Clayton, and now he's looking at Byron DeBello as his next target. And here we go down this straightaway, and that is one big draft effect that you get. Alistair Hatcher has now lost a lot of ground, luckily up 8 spots total still. So not a bad place to be. It doesn't look like he has any damage on his car. It doesn't look like these cars are too badly off, just a little bit on car 75, but no worse for the wear. This corner, let me take a look at our corner names. It's funny, the French, that is actually called Nürburgring. We have 180 degrees. Here is Grand Courbe. That's fine. Grand Courbe. Courbe is the name of that corner. I think they just named these corners after famous tracks around the world because this is called Imola, and the next corner is Chateau d'Eau. My French accent sucks. The next corner we're coming along is chicane. So this corner right here, this little left bend is actually called chicane. That doesn't look like a chicane to me. This is Lycée Pin, turn 15, and Complexe de Lycée, turn 16, turn 17, and that is the end. Byron is making a little bit of mistake, and that is opening the door slightly for Barry Clayton, but Barry Clayton not able to make up that gap and gets up alongside. So Barry Clayton's going to have to fight to live another lap behind, but he is now definitely close enough to go down this straight and make a challenge on Byron as we head into that braking zone. Oh, and he is closer than ever, 2/10 off the rear bumper, Byron. And here we go down the straight. Is Byron going to defend the inside? Is he going to let Barry Clayton have it? Barry Clayton wants that inside. He's going for it, under braking, and Byron able to out-brake Barry Clayton and stay ahead. Barry Clayton thinking better of it and tucking back in. So we're going to head over to, we're going to head over to, oh no, Emil Koopmans has crashed. Something's happened. That is, I want to take a look exactly how did that happen. Oh, and that is unfortunate for Emil Koopmans, who had such an excellent drive going on, and he is now down many spots into P9, down 8 spots total starting in P1. So definitely a heartbreak. Emil Koopmans wants one of those spots back on Gregory Franks. And here we go, heading towards the airpin. Emil Koopmans has the inside line. Gregory is just going to give it up nice and easy and follow in tow, hopefully, hoping, I'm sure, that he can bring Gregory, hoping that Emil will bring him right back to Ryan Winfield. With 7 minutes left in this race, it's still a lot of race to go. And here we go with Frank Smits now looking how to get by Florian Kappel. Florian Kappel and Frank Smits battling it out for P3, the final spot on our podium. Here we go through the Nürburgring as we head towards Imola. A little bit of a bump from behind of Frank Smits hitting the rear bumper of Florian. Florian still able to stay ahead. And all of this battling has been beneficial to Bruno Heinrich, as you can see him starting to pull away in the distance ahead of them. And that is excellent racing from these guys here. You can see their brake pads lighting up those rotors as they hit the brakes, and that may be a slowdown for Frank Smits. That is, and there we go. It looks like Florian Kappel is just going to let him by. Not sure what's happening there, but Florian Kappel has just let him by and letting him have it easy. And now Philip the Hammer up 3 spots total because of the spin from Emil Koopmans. He's going to have a chance to take an attack position on Florian Kappel as we head down this large straightaway. He is gaining as they head towards that braking zone. You can see those cars dive under braking. The nose just almost hits that ground. And as they hit the heavy braking zone, they turn in, and then they have to accelerate as hard as they possibly can in first gear. The rear end just sliding just a little bit. There's a lot of action going on in that turn. Oh no, and there goes and there goes Florian Kappel. That is not going to help. Oh, that curb is beating up his car. Florian Kappel is having such an excellent race up until that point, and now is down to P5. Philip the Hammer, just being nice, consistent, is all the way up into 4th spot, not pushing his luck too much, and gaining lots of spots just off that alone. So now he's looking at Frank Smits with 5 minutes left in this race. We've got Bruno Heinrich is in 2nd. Frank Smits is in 3rd. Philip Hammer's up into 4th. Florian Kappel has a damaged car. He may not be able to finish the race with a car looking like that. I'm really curious to see if he's going to have to go into the pits. Is he going to take the... No, he is going to try and finish the race exactly as the car sits. That is going to be a hell of a challenge. Hopefully Benjamin De Pape is not going to catch him with the 2 or 3 laps that he has left. Here's Ryan Winfield, the top amateur placing driver currently in our race, in 7th spot. He is up 2 spots total from where he started, so he's having a good drive. He's benefiting off of the misfortune of others, as Emil Koopman, who spun, is behind him. Gregory Ranks has just allowed Emil to walk through, and it looks like this is paying dividends as they're going to be closing in towards Ryan. And I'm actually going to go a little bit further back because these cars are battling it out. The battle here is heating up. It looks like how Alistair Hatcher is now ahead of Barry Clayton, Byron DeBello. This is how did this happen? I want to take a look. How did we get into this situation right here? Let's take a look with this quick replay. So this is heading towards that huge braking zone down the long straight. Alistair Hatcher was ahead, and so maybe not far enough back. So this is, oh no, everyone, it looks like Jerry Steinmetz crashed. So I want to take a look before we, there's Jerry Steinmetz crashing. Okay, enough replays. Let's go back to the live race and see where all the action is at, because there's still lots of action happening. Gregory Ranks is still very much within range of taking Emil Koopman's spot back. Emil Koopman's pace was 5.1 seconds from Ryan Winfeld previously. Now it's 5.8. So what that means is he's not gaining on that car head. So Gregory Ranks has got to start thinking about how to break on through, gain that spot back, and gain those positions, those points. Oh, it looks like Lee Holmes has spun on that chicane jump, and that's allowed Jason Lyons on through. And that was an easy pass for Jason Lyons, just being in the right place at the right time, and that's what it takes. This is the Philip Hammer method. That is the Philip Hammer method. I love it. That's my personal way of doing it too. I love it. You don't have to push your luck too much. Calculated risk is what it's all about. Here's Glenn Humberstone battling out with Alistair Hatcher. I'm gonna have to guess these two are teammates. And there goes Alistair Hatcher spinning into the wall, and there it is, Glenn Humberstone with a car that's not damaged, waiting it out, and there he goes, making a pass. And that's all it takes sometimes. It has now been dubbed the Hammer method. This track has claimed many lives, many drivers. As you can see, it looks like 11, 12 cars are out. And there's Alistair Hatcher going off into the sand. Once again, Byron DeBello able to take that spot back. So Alistair Hatcher is up only 8 spots total. At the very back of this field, it's looking like of active drivers on track. And that's put Barry Clayton able to challenge Glenn Humberstone for his spot. I want to take a look at where it is Craig Schill. Craig Schill, I think this is his first race this season, maybe second. And he is on a nice, comfortable island in P14. Lee Holmes just after that spin, fortunately still in 13. He is the current points leader of the amateur division in 13th position for the season, and now is in 13th position for this race. Jason Lyons in 12th. Let's move our way up this field and just take a look at how everyone is doing. Samuel K. Sproul in 10th, Gregory Ranks 9th, and is not pushing his luck too much on Emil Koopman's by the looks of it. Want to take one quickie peek at Jürgen Frank, who's now 10 seconds ahead of Bruno. So that is an excellent drive from this German. Just absolute pure dominance. Here's Bruno Heinrichs with Frank Smits. Frank Smits hot on his tail. Is this the final lap? Is Jürgen Frank going to trigger one more lap? Let's take a look. We're going to have to follow along. Can he get across that finish line in time? I don't think he's going to do it. And he has, is he going to trigger one more lap? He is. There is one more lap to go. It is not the end of this race quite yet. So that means Bruno Heinrich has one more lap that he's going to have to fight off Frank Smits. And here we go down that start finish line. Frank Smits is closer than ever with one more lap to go. Car 62 is hot on the tail of 77 as we head through turn 1, heading into the braking zone of turn 2. You trail off the brakes very, very slowly as you want to pivot and rotate that car nice and slow, just right as you head on to that very, very long straight. Here's Frank Smits as he's getting closer and closer. He is now 2/10 away and able to get up alongside under braking potentially. And here he goes. He's going to make that dive for the inside, and he's going to back out and think better of it and try and get him on the exit. He's rotating that car, going to power out in first gear, and Bruno Heinrich is getting the excellent launch out of the hairpin. So as we head through the Nürburgring, I don't know why they call this the Nürburgring, what name for a corner, and we're going to head into this real long trail breaking corner. Bruno Heinrich is playing that tight defensive line, not wanting to open up any doorways for Frank Smits, and here we go heading towards Imola. That's so funny. I love it. Imola. Here we go through Imola. It's a little bit of a down, then up, and then roller coaster ride as we head into the braking zone. Frank Smith's absolutely closer than ever, and this is where it counts for all the marbles, heading towards the very last passing zone. And there is Jürgen Frank crossing that start-finish line. Congratulations, Jürgen Frank, for the win of the race. Here comes Bruno Heinrich, Frank Smits, and Philip the Hammer across that start-finish line. Here we go, Bruno Heinrich in second. Congratulations, Frank Smits for third. Wow, what an absolute great drive from these folks. Here's Benjamin DePape, Ryan Winfeld, Florian Kappel with that damaged car, not able to hold on, down a few more spots in P7. Emil Koopmans, and here is Gregory Ranks, Samuel K. Spruill, Thorsten Seifert, Jason Lyons. His car is still fully intact, much better than it looked in Mosport. Mosport, I think he was either spun or in the wall more than anything. Here is Lee Holmes coming across in P13. Craig Schill, much further back, 20 seconds. I think he was involved in a little bit of an incident, but you know what? Holding on, he's exactly right where he started. And 14th, it's not a bad place to be for the amateur driver here, coming across this final chicane, and there is that start-finish line for Craig Schill. Here's Glenn Humberstone, who was battling it out with Barry Clayton. And Alistair Hatcher was down one lap. Byron is down one lap. And here they go around the final sequence of corners. And there is Glenn Humberstone is in the lead. Barry Clayton as they cross that finish line. And that now concludes the race, and let's take a look at our race results. And we're going to run through that real quick, and we can even see how far ahead Jürgen Frank was. Wow, 10 seconds. Jürgen Frank started in P5, went through this field, and ended up in P1. That is a hell of a drive. This is a new track for everyone. This is the first season that this track has been out, so it's been an interesting experience to see how this track races with a reverse grid, with a large grid, all of it with these cars. I gotta say, it's definitely has not disappointed. It's a challenge in all of the best ways. So there is Jürgen Frank, the winner of that of the feature race. Congratulations, Bruno Heinrich, keeping that car pointed forward in P2. Great job, great drive from Bruno. Frank Smits in third, Philip Hammer in fourth, Benjamin Pape in fifth, Ryan Winfeld in sixth, Florian Kappel in seventh, Emil Koopman in eighth, Gregory Ranks in ninth. Great drive from Gregory to get all the way up into P9. Samuel K. Spruill in P10, Thorsten Seifert in P11. So that was a recovery drive for Thorsten to get up 6 spots total. And it looks like Jason Lyons was 12, Lee Holmes 13, so that is up 7 spots for Lee Holmes. Craig Schill, Glenn Humberstone, Barry Clayton, Alistair Hatcher, Byron DeBello in his first race. Great drive from Byron in his first PCC race. We've got Yuri Steinmetz, after crashing out, made his way up into P19 and then ended up crashing out on the roller coaster track. That's the best way to describe it, I gotta say. It is one crazy ride. We've got Philip Straffarelli also crashed out, Alexander Redhead, Steve Kleiss, Edwin Van Driel, Amir Carr, Danny Hugendorn, Alexander Wilford, Mark Oliver, Alejandro Tosi, who did not have good luck in either of those races, I don't think. Tom E. Corner, Bjorn Ritter, and Bernard Faria didn't even start, so he's just in 31st. No laps down because he didn't really start. And I gotta say, that was quite a race. That was definitely an intense race there, and congratulations to all of the winners. Danny Hugendorn saying, I hate the track. Sorry. Yeah, it's definitely, you know what, this is a love and a hate kind of track. It's I think it's more hate than love. to be honest. I can't see where someone would love this track, especially with those chicanes that you have to jump. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, is this a motocross track or is this a race track? I guess motocross is racing, but you never would have thought that you'd have to motocross a Porsche Cup car, and here we are. So that is now concluding our Euro Global. Is there any person who wants to take this interview booth? Nope. No one wants to do an interview. One day, I'm going to grab you guys for an interview. Danny Hugendorn, I'd love to grab you into the interview booth one day. Bruno Heinrich, calling you out for an interview next race. Any one of you, Frank Smits, Yuri Steinmetz, Philip Hammer. I'll even take Glenn Humberstone, Alistair Hatcher, Barry Clayton, all you guys, Steve Kleiss, Alexander Redhead, all you guys, come on to this interview booth. I'd love to hear from Alexander Wilford. Of course, not all of you at once, but jump on into this interview booth next race. Love to hear from you, whether it's a good race, bad race, vent all your feelings, and yeah. That now concludes our Euro Global Division race at Magny Cours. Hope you all had a great time, and I'll see you guys next week. And have a good evening, have a good day, have a good week. See you guys later.
Control, will you help me? Feels like I might be losing my grip. Oh yeah, I am. What you gonna say? What you gonna do when I lost control? We had lost, yeah, we lost control. Yeah, we lost control. Love about a liquor boy, will you hit me up? I lost control. Will you help me? Love about a liquor boy, will you hit me up? I lost control.